I remember you as being a pretty noisy little fella, son. Now all of a sudden you get quiet.
You lost your book of answers, or you just waiting for your lawyer?
Maybe you don't think murder looks so good on you.
Maybe I didn't do it.
Maybe you didn't do it, Moroney. Now look, Spade, we're arraigning you tomorrow. It isn't personal. We don't like you, but it isn't personal. We just have a little protocol to follow when there's been a killing.
Where's the lieutenant?
He asked us to talk to you. Oh, if that's okay with you.
Sorry, can't tell you that.
Oh, you can't. Well, guess what, wise guy? We already know who you were working for. You were working for the Sanders dame. And we also know your partner, Miles, was the investigator for the dead lawyer before they had a falling out.
Where's Miles now?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a week.
That seems kind of funny, Spade. He's your partner, isn't he?
What's funny about it? I'm not his keeper. He's always had a weakness for the booze and the dames. I figured it was one of those. Besides, he's taking a vacation here or there.
How do you feel?
Like a duck in a shooting gallery.
You want to make a statement?
Your boys tell me I did a murder. Anything in it?
The dead lawyer, Horlock, was shot in the back. He had a blackmail note in it. Name of your partner, Miles. Funny thing, though. Handwriting came back as yours. We matched it to your detective's license.
Why would I sign a blackmail letter? Sounds like a frame to me.
Maybe you wanted to frame your partner, Miles. Or maybe you were both in on it.
Come on, Lieutenant. You've known me longer than that. Besides, seems like an amateur.
Think you better let me have it, Spade. From the beginning.
All right, Moroney. Break out your notebook.
Well, it was about 9 o'clock. Anyway, it was dark. I was at the office. I'm a homing pigeon. I always come back to the stinking coop, no matter how late it is. I'd been out peeking under the old Sunday section for a barber named Dominic, whose wife wanted him back. I forget why. Only reason I took the job was because my bank account was trying to crawl under a duck. And I never found him. I just found out all over again just how big this city is. My feet hurt, and my mind felt like a plumber's handkerchief. The office bottle hadn't sparked me up, so I'd taken out my little black book and decided to grouse hunting. Nothing like soft shoulders to improve my morale. Soft Shoulders had a date, but she thought she could do something about that and was going to check right back. There's something about the dead silence of an office building at night. Not quite real. The traffic down below was something that I didn't have anything to do with. That's when she came in. She looked good. She smelled nice, too.
Mr. Spade?
What can I do for you, baby?
Oh, Mr. Spade, I'm so desperate. I need your help.
Take a seat, doll. Drink?
Oh, no, thank you.
So what's the trouble, doll?
Oh, Mr. Spade, you must take my case. I retained a lawyer, and I believe he's taking advantage of me. He's charging me $60,000, and my whole case is only worth $70,000.
Isn't that what you agreed to ahead of time?
No, he told me his fee was $250 an hour, and then I haven't heard from him since. And today I received his bill, and I was floored. I wanted to know if he violated any rules so I can report him.
I see. So tell me, why didn't you go to another lawyer with this? What made you come to me?
I don't trust lawyers. I heard you were a lawyer previously. Will you investigate my claim?
That was a long time ago, baby. I don't even know if I can remember the model rules of professional conduct for lawyers.
I don't care. I'd rather have you take my case, Mr. Spade.
All right, and you can call me Sam.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
So what's the name of your lawyer, doll?
Colin Horlock.
Horlock!
Is there something wrong, Sam?
It's just that my partner, Miles Archer, used to be Horlock's investigator.
Oh, I had no idea.
You're lucky we're not a law firm, baby. Because if we were, I probably couldn't take your case.
I'm not sure I understand.
Model Rule 1.9. Wait a minute. I got it right here. Model Rule 1.9 prohibits a lawyer from doing work on behalf of a new client if that work involves the same or a substantially related matter as former client's representation, and the new client's interests are materially adverse to the interests of the former client, unless the client gives informed consent confirmed in writing.
Oh,
But don't worry, doll. Private eyes aren't uptight about the model rules like lawyers are.
Sam, how come you were disbarred?
You wouldn't be interested.
No, Sam, I would.
I disclosed the location of a dead girl's body against the objections of my murdering client, and that's a violation of Rule 1.6, Rule of Confidentiality.
But Sam, there must be some exceptions to those rules under those circumstances.
Oh, there are exceptions to Rule 1.6. When the release of the information will prevent reasonable certain death or substantial bodily harm.
So what's the problem?
The problem was, the girl was already dead, and I knew it.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Sam.
So the Smiths buried their daughter, and I changed careers after the board took my license to practice law.
Any regrets?
Lots. But not about that. Okay, baby. I'll take your case. Drop your paperwork off to my secretary in the morning, and I'll go visit Horlock tomorrow and brush up on my model rules.
Oh, he won't be there.
How do you know?
Oh, I mean, he might not be there. He's difficult to get a hold of.
I'll let you know what I find out.
So I went to Horlock's office. He wasn't there, just like she said. The cleaner was in the building and had left the door open to his office, so I helped myself. I didn't find anything except for duplicates of a few insurance claims with names I didn't recognize. One for the same apartment building that Ingrid lives in, and another across town. I wasn't sure if they meant anything, so I wasn't gonna mention it. I had an old buddy in the insurance biz, so I decided to meet up with him later. I headed back to my office to brush up on my model rules for my follow-up meeting with Ingrid. I called her and asked her to stop by the office around 5 in the evening. She was early.
You know you have a pretty nice build for a private detective.
It gets me around.
You said you had some information for me?
Your lawyer appears to have violated some of the model rules.
Oh, I knew it.
Rule 1.2 and 1.4 work together, and it appears that your attorney most likely violated both of them. Rule 1.2 deals with the scope of representation and the allocation of authority between a lawyer and a client. Rule 1.4 deals with communication between lawyers and their clients. Horlock could most likely be found to have violated 1.4 when he failed to inform you that his decisions and circumstances for which you informed your consent was required. He failed to reasonably consult with you about the means by which your objectives in the case were to be accomplished, and he failed to keep you reasonably informed of the status of your case. All in all, violation of Rule 1.4.
Oh, my goodness.
But wait, baby, there's more. In doing so, he was also violating Rule 1.2, which requires him to abide by your decisions regarding the objectives of representation. He should have been consulting with you about the means he was employing, including the mediation process and the extent of his investigation.
Sam, what about the bill?
I'm getting to that, doll. Rule 1.5 regulates fees charged by lawyers. Although Horlock appears to have complied with Rule 1.5, by communicating his $250 per hour rate to you up front, he is still bound by the structures of Rule 1.5. It may be found to be in violation of Rule 1.5, because he stands for the proposition that a lawyer cannot charge, collect, or even make an agreement for an unreasonable fee amount of expenses. Factors in determining the reasonableness of a fee are the time and labor, novelty and difficulty of the questions involved, and the skill required. The likelihood, if apparent to the client, that the acceptance of the particular employment will preclude other employment by the lawyer, the fee customarily charged in the locality for the circumstances, the amount involved and the results obtained, the time limitations imposed by the client or by the circumstances, the nature and length of the professional relationship with the client, the experience, reputation, and ability of the lawyer or lawyers performing the services, and whether the fee is contingent or fixed. It also appears Horlock raised his fee to $300 an hour while working on your case. As you already mentioned, this was never communicated to you. Rule 1.5b states that any charges in the basis or rate of the fee of expenses shall be communicated to the client. In fact, some courts dislike this practice so much that they have held unilateral fee increases to be fraudulent with full disclosure and the acceptance of the client based on adequate consideration and the opportunity to consult outside counsel. So Horlock is likely to be found to have violated Rule 1.5a and 1.5b because his $250 per hour initial rate is somewhat excessive in his locality for the circumstances in this service he was performing. The fee is nearly as much as the total amount involved, and the legal questions involved are not especially novel or difficult. Also, by not communicating the increase in the hourly rate, the agreement could be considered fraudulent.
Oh, Sam, you're wonderful.
If I was still a lawyer, I'd be required to report Horlock.
How does that work, Sam?
Right here. Rule 8.3 makes it mandatory for a lawyer to make a report when he knows another lawyer committed a violation of the rules of professional conduct that raises a substantial question as to the lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer. But I guess I'm off the hook on that one.
Let's go out for drinks, Sam. What about your rules? Are you allowed to go out for drinks with clients?
Only the ones in skirts.
So we went to a joint downtown. It was hopping, and the band was good. Ingrid really let her hair down. Cute kid. She seemed to forget about all her trouble. We didn't talk about the case even once.
Well, that's about it.
What club did you go to?
The Green Cat.
What'd you do there?
We had a few drinks.
What time did you stay till?
Till close. About 2 a.m.
Then what happened?
I took her home.
Have you talked to her since?
No.
What about the blackmail letter?
I told you. I don't know anything about that.
Let him go.
What?
I said let him go. One last thing. You got any idea who did this?
I haven't got the faintest idea who did this, Lieutenant.
I was lying. I did have a faint idea, and it was becoming more clear. I just needed to do one last thing before I could know for sure. I checked in with my secretary. She told me Miles had called in. He was nowhere near the city at that time of the murder, and could prove it. I only had one more stop before going to see Ingrid Sanders. I paid a visit to my old insurance buddy. Then I headed over to Ingrid's apartment.
Oh, Sam, what a surprise.
Is it, baby?
Sam, what's wrong?
Marie Sanderson.
What?
Marie Sanderson. That was the name on the old insurance claim I found involving your landlord. Funny thing though, Miss Sanders. Your middle name happens to be Marie, doesn't it? My old insurance pal didn't have any information on it. At first. Then he found a picture. It's you, all right. Hair was a little different, but it was you.
Oh, Sam, I can explain.
You don't have to, baby. I know you and the crooked landlord were in on the phony insurance claim.
until Herlock muscled in, and he knew that you were both in no position, because if one sang, you were both going down. So you murdered Herlock.
Oh, Sam, it's true, except for the part about murdering Harlock.
At first I thought it was your partner, the landlord. But on my way over here, I had a lot of time to think about it. The cop said Herlock was shot in the back. That's when I knew it was you. It had to be someone that he was comfortable with. Someone he wouldn't expect.
No, Sam, please. You can't believe I murdered him.
There's no more time for your schoolgirl games. A man's dead, and we're both facing the gas chamber.
All right, Sam, I did it. I didn't mean to kill him. You got to believe me. I just wanted him to hand over the paperwork he had on me on the false insurance claims, and the gun went off accidentally.
Yeah, and then you planted the phony blackmail letter on him to make it look like it was my partner Miles.
I'm so sorry, Sam.
You were never going to make a complaint to the BBO. What do you care about the model rules that we've talked about, and especially 8.4B?
8.4B, Sam?
That's right, baby. When Herlock was extorting you and the landlord for your little insurance scheme, he violated Rule 8.4. 8.4B. By committing a criminal act that reflects adversely on your honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer, he also violated Rule 1.2D, because he would most likely be found to have been engaging, assisting, and counseling you in conduct that he knew likely to be found to be criminal or fraudulent. This is in addition to his violation of Rule 8.4A, which prohibits the violation of the rules themselves, which he did when he failed to consult you under Rule 1.2, failed to keep you informed under Rule 1.4, and then unreasonably overbilled you in violation of Rule 1.5. Herlock knew neither of you nor your landlord would be in any position to take the cat out of the bag on what was really going on, so he took advantage of that. Just like your insurance scamming landlord, he took advantage of you. You can turn off the act, baby. I know your interest in the model rules was just a fake. You were just trying to get in my office to get a handwriting sample of my partner Miles so you could plant that phony letter. I also know that you knew that Herlock was dead.
No, Sam.
You knew Miles worked for Herlock, and they parted on bad terms, and he'd be the perfect sap for a murder rap. But you made two mistakes. One, Miles was out of town for the murder. Two, that was my handwriting on that bill you swiped from the office. The detectives had my handwriting sample from my detective's license, and that's why they pulled me in.
But why, Sam? Why did you write that letter in Miles' name?
What do you care why I wrote it? I had his permission. He had my permission. Us private eyes aren't following the model rules like the lawyers are. If you're lucky, baby, the judge will believe your story, and you won't get the gas chamber. In your case, you get 20 years. And I'll be waiting for you. Listen, baby, I'm going to say this once. You probably won't understand, but I'm going to say it anyways. When a man's partner is framed, you do something about it. Doesn't matter what you thought of your partner, you do something about it. It's bad for business. It's bad for private detectives everywhere.
You don't think that's sufficient reasons to send me to the gas?
Wait a minute, let me finish. That's what we got on one hand. On the other hand, maybe I love you, maybe you love me.
Sam, you know whether you love me or not.
Maybe I do. I'll have some rotten nights after I send you over, but that'll pass.
We heard everything, Sam.
Wait for me, Sam.
I'll be here, baby.